Hey, Josh from the lab here, and I've been reading a lot of forums and seen a lot of videos talking about the murders in Idaho of the four college students. I wouldn't say it's not a big question, but one of the reoccurring questions that seems to get asked a lot is how could somebody kill four people in 10 minutes with a knife? Is that possible? And by the way, that's going to be probably some sort of defense at some point. Now this isn't for the people that understand this, and I am not a doctor. I've never been a doctor. I have very limited medical knowledge overall, but I do have two nephews who are hemophiliacs. And a hemophiliac, or hemophilia itself, is where your body doesn't produce enough of the clotting protein or blood factors when you get hurt. So it may take you a little longer to stop bleeding if you don't have the clotting protein. Now, there are different degrees of hemophilia, and some require medicine and some don't. My nephews are there. They have a 0% clotting factor, meaning that if they did not take medicine to produce that, they could die from any sort of cut. It doesn't stop. So they need, and especially when they were younger, now it's a different type of situation, but they would have to take factor, and the only way to get factor is to put it into their body intravenously. When they were younger, there was a port put in their chest, and you would take the port, and what it was is it was like just a little plastic ball tucked right under the skin with a little hole in it, and that's when they were babies. You would take the needle and insert it into the port and then administer the factor. And as they got older, those ports become more and more difficult to keep clean, and if they get infected, it's a major issue. So they have the ports removed. Now intravenous factor, and that's the name of the medicine, has to be administered. And so I've learned about femoral arteries. I've learned about abdominal aorta. I've learned about the brachial arteries. And so I'm going to just really quickly explain how it's possible. Now, the femoral artery is your lower body one. That's the one in the lower body, and it goes all the way down your leg. So if that artery, and I'm not saying that this is what happened, but if that artery is damaged in any way, say by a knife, then if it is a straight, clean cut, veins and arteries are typically sphincteral. And what I mean by that is if you cut it, it will constrict and close itself off. If it's just a straight cut, if it's at an angle, then you have major problems and you need medical attention immediately. You would probably lose consciousness in close to 30 seconds. Death would be about 3 minutes after that. Brachial artery is a major issue, like all of them are. But that would be, as many of you know, it's the widowmaker. It runs through your arm and up to your neck and connects to your heart and so on and so forth. And it's a big artery, and it pumps through about 30 liters of blood an hour. Your body only has 5 liters on average for an adult, meaning basically you can literally die in 15 seconds from bleeding out from the brachial artery. They also taught us about stomach wounds and bruises, hematomas, and things like that. And, now I have no real use for this information except to pass it on to you, and you can probably just read this anywhere. But the abdominal aorta, if the puncture is deep enough, and depending on the viciousness of wound, and by the way, stomach wounds and punctures are devastatingly painful, meaning one of the first things that you're going to do is you're probably going to come close to blacking out from the pain. But if the abdominal aorta is cut, then you have 30 seconds or so. Death follows right after that. And before that, probably the acid from your stomach would spill into the wounds and you'd be incapacitated with pain that not many of us have experienced or would ever experience. And hopefully none of us get to. So the answer is absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. It doesn't take long. I know this is a sensitive subject matter, but it's just something that I thought I could try to explain in a easier way. And hopefully I did it as respectfully as possible. My nephews are doing great. Hemophilia runs in my family. My mother was a carrier. My sister is a carrier. My two nephews, my sister's kids have hemophilia. I have a cousin that has hemophilia. And so blood disorders, blood loss, all that kind of stuff, we're pretty well versed in over here, unfortunately. Anyway, thank you for listening.